For centuries, humanity has been fascinated by stories of unsolved mysteries, particularly those involving lost treasures and mysterious disappearances. From ancient legends of hidden treasures to modern-day cases of missing persons, these unsolved mysteries have captivated the imaginations of people across the globe. Despite advances in technology and the tireless efforts of investigators, many of these mysteries remain unsolved, leaving us with more questions than answers. Join us as we delve into the world of unsolved mysterious treasures and disappearances, exploring the clues and theories surrounding some of history's most intriguing enigmas. The Sodder children's disappearance. On Christmas Eve of 1945, the Sodder family of Fayetteville, West Virginia, experienced a tragedy that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. A fire broke out in their home, and while 5 of the Sodder children were thought to have perished in the blaze, their remains were never found. The fire started sometime after the family had gone to bed, and it quickly spread throughout the house. George and Jenny Sodder, along with 4 of their children, managed to escape the flames, but the fate of 5 of their children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny and Betty, remained unknown. Despite an extensive search of the property, no remains were found, leading the family to believe that their children had not perished in the fire as originally thought. The circumstances surrounding the fire and the disappearance of the children were shrouded in mystery and fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. Several strange occurrences surrounding the fire raised suspicion, including the fact that the family's phone lines appeared to have been tampered with, preventing them from calling for help. Additionally, a man was seen on the property the day before the fire asking about work and making strange comments about the family's house and their children. As the years passed, the Sodder family continued to investigate the disappearance of their children, conducting their own search efforts and hiring private investigators. They received several leads over the years, including a woman who claimed to have seen the missing children in Florida, but none of them led to a resolution. In 1968, the family received a letter addressed to Jenny Sodder, postmarked from Kentucky with no return address. The letter contained a photograph of a young man who resembled one of the missing children, along with a cryptic message. The authenticity of the letter and photograph were never confirmed, and the case remained unsolved. The disappearance of the Sodder children remains one of the most baffling mysteries in American history, and it has been the subject of numerous books, articles, and television specials. Despite the efforts of the family and investigators, the fate of Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty Sodder remains unknown, and the case continues to captivate and confound people to this day. The Roanoke Colony. The Roanoke Colony was the second attempt by the English to establish a settlement in North America following the failed attempt at Roanoke in 1585. In 1587, a group of approximately 120 settlers, including women and children, set sail for Roanoke Island under the leadership of John White. The colony was meant to establish a permanent English presence in the New World and to serve as a base for further exploration and colonization. However, the colony faced numerous challenges from the outset. The settlers arrived on Roanoke Island in August 1587, but supplies were low and tensions with the local Native American tribes were high. In addition, John White's position as governor of the colony was not universally accepted, and there were internal disputes and rivalries among the settlers. In 1588, John White left the colony to return to England in search of supplies and reinforcements. However, his return was delayed by various factors, including the outbreak of war between England and Spain. When he finally arrived back at Roanoke Island in 1590, 3 years later, he found the settlement abandoned. The only clue to the colonists' fate was the word Croatoan carved into a post. Theories about the fate of the lost colony of Roanoke abound, but no definitive evidence has ever been found. Some theories suggest that the colonists were killed by Native Americans, while others speculate they may have been assimilated into local tribes. Still, others suggest that the colonists may have migrated to a different location or even been shipwrecked and lost at sea. In recent years, efforts have been made to use modern technology, including DNA analysis and ground-penetrating radar, to try to shed new light on the fate of the lost colony of Roanoke. However, these efforts have so far been inconclusive, and the mystery of what happened to the colonists remains unsolved. Oak Island Treasure. Another famous story is that of Oak Island Treasure located off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada. The legend of the Oak Island Treasure dates back to the late 1700s, when a young boy named Daniel McGinnis stumbled upon a depression in the ground that looked like it had been dug up and filled in. Intrigued, McGuinness returned to the site with two friends, John Smith and Anthony Vaughan, and they began digging in search of whatever might be buried there. Over the years, the trio and subsequent treasure hunters would uncover a series of bizarre clues and artifacts that seemed to suggest that a great treasure was hidden on the island. These clues included a large stone slab with mysterious symbols carved into it, a system of underground tunnels and flood traps, and numerous pieces of gold and silver chains, tools and other objects. Despite these tantalizing clues, the Oak Island treasure has never been found. Over the years, countless treasure hunters, investors and companies have attempted to uncover the secret of Oak Island, but the search has been complicated by the presence of the underground tunnels and traps, as well as the high cost of excavation and drilling. Theories abound as to what might be hidden on Oak Island. Some believe that the treasure was buried by pirates, while others think it may have been hidden by the Knights Templar, who are known to have sailed to North America in the 14th century. Still, others believe that the treasure may be related to the fabled lost city of Atlantis. Despite the lack of definitive proof of the Oak Island treasure's existence, the legend continues to capture the imaginations of treasure hunters and adventurers around the world. The search for this elusive treasure has become a symbol of the thrill of the hunt and the quest for adventure, and the mystery of Oak Island remains as compelling today as it did over 200 years ago. The USS Cyclops. The USS Cyclops was a United States Navy ship that vanished without a trace in the Bermuda Triangle during World War I. The disappearance of the ship and its 309 crew members remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the sea. The USS Cyclops was a massive cargo ship that was commissioned in 1910. During World War I, the ship was tasked with transporting coal from Brazil to the United States for the war effort. On its final voyage, the USS Cyclops departed from Brazil in March 1918 and headed north towards Baltimore, Maryland. However, the ship never arrived at its destination, and no distress signals were ever received. Despite an extensive search effort, no trace of the ship or its crew was ever found. The disappearance of the USS Cyclops remains one of the greatest maritime mysteries in history. There have been many theories about what happened to the USS Cyclops, but none has ever been proven. Some speculate that the ship was sunk by a German U-boat or hit by a rogue wave, while others believe that the ship was destroyed by a mechanical failure or explosion. Still, others suggest that the ship was lost in the Bermuda Triangle, an area of the Atlantic Ocean known for mysterious disappearances of ships and airplanes. The disappearance of the USS Cyclops remains an enduring mystery, and the fate of its 309 crew members is still unknown. The tragedy of the ship's loss highlights the inherent dangers of sea travel and the mysteries that can occur in the vast and unpredictable ocean. The Amber Room. The Amber Room is one of the most famous lost treasures in the world. Originally created in the early 18th century as a gift from the King of Prussia to the Tsar of Russia, the Amber Room was an ornate chamber made entirely out of amber panels, gold leaf and precious stones. The Amber Room was installed in the Catherine Palace in St. Petersburg, Russia, where it remained until World War II. In 1941, as the German army advanced in St. Petersburg, Soviet officials attempted to remove the Amber Room and transport it to safety. However, the transport was intercepted by the Germans, who seized the Amber Room and transported it to Germany. The Amber Room was initially displayed at Königsberg Castle in East Prussia, but as the war drew to a close, its whereabouts became unclear. It's believed that the Amber Room was hidden somewhere in Germany, but despite numerous searches and investigations, it has never been found. The search for the Amber Room has captured the imaginations of treasure hunters and adventurers for decades. Many theories have been proposed as to its whereabouts, including that it was destroyed during Allied bombing raids, hidden in a salt mine, or even smuggled out of Germany and sold on the black market. In recent years, there have been several high-profile searches for the Amber Room, including a joint German-Russian expedition in 1998 and a search by a group of amateur treasure hunters in Poland in 2015. However, none of these searches have yielded definitive proof of the Amber Room's location. Despite the mystery surrounding its whereabouts, the Amber Room remains an enduring symbol of the power of art and the devastation of war. Its ornate beauty and rich history continue to captivate people around the world, and the search for this lost treasure shows no signs of slowing down. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. What was supposed to be a standard red-eye flight with an average 6-hour flight time turned into 9 years of loss and mystery. On March 8, 2014, 239 people boarded Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 en route to Beijing from Malaysia's capital city of Kuala Lumpur and were never seen again. The flight departed from Kuala Lumpur International Airport at 12:41 a.m. local time and was scheduled to arrive in Beijing at 6:30 a.m. However, the plane disappeared from radar screens just over an hour after takeoff while flying over the South China Sea. An extensive search and rescue operation was launched, but no debris or wreckage was found for several days. As the search expanded to a wider area, additional clues began to emerge, including satellite data indicating that the plane had continued to fly for several hours after disappearing from radar. Theories about the fate of the aircraft range from a mechanical malfunction to a terrorist hijacking, but no definitive explanation has ever been found. The search for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 continued for years, but despite the efforts of numerous countries and agencies, the wreckage of the plane was not found until July 2015. A piece of wing known as a flaperon washed up on the island of Reunion in the Indian Ocean, about 3,500 kilometers away from the original search area. Since the discovery of the flaperon, several other pieces of debris believed to be from Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 have been found, but the bulk of the wreckage and the remains of the passengers and crew have not been located. The disappearance of the aircraft and the mystery surrounding its fate have generated intense speculation and conspiracy theories, and the families of those on board continue to seek answers and closure. The search for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 was one of the largest and most expensive in aviation history, and it underscores the challenges and uncertainties involved in finding a missing aircraft in the vast and unpredictable oceans of the world. Despite the discovery of some debris, the fate of the plane and its passengers remains a mystery, and the search for answers continues. Golden River. Las Vegas is known for many things: bright lights, extravagant shows, and casinos that offer a glimmer of hope to those who try their luck. But what if I told you that beneath the desert there's an underground river flowing with gold worth $1 trillion? It sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, but it's true. Before we take a deeper look into this mysterious underground river, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. The river with 1 trillion gold is a legendary underground watercourse that's said to flow beneath the Mojave Desert in California, carrying rich deposits of gold nuggets and black sand. The origin of this legend can be traced back to a cowboy-turned-miner named Earl Dorr, who claimed to have discovered a massive limestone cave system under Cockerweave Peak in 1927, where he saw a half-mile deep canyon with a river at the bottom. Dorr swore in a statement in 1934 that he had witnessed the river receding and revealing gold-bearing sand. He also said he'd sealed the entrance to the cave with dynamite to protect his claim. However, Dorr's story has been met with skepticism and controversy ever since. Many geologists have argued that such a large river and gold deposit are geologically impossible under the arid Mojave Desert. Despite these doubts, many prospectors and adventurers have been searching for the lost river of gold for decades, hoping to find the entrance to Dorr's cave and the treasure within. One of the first attempts to locate Dorr's cave was made by his nephew, Ray Dorr, in 1939. He hired a team of miners and drilled several holes on Cockerweave Peak, but found no trace of the river or the cave. Ray Dorr eventually gave up his search and sold his rights to the land. In 1941, another group of explorers led by George Van Tassel claimed to have found Dorr's entrance and explored part of the cave system. They reported seeing stalactites, stalagmites, crystals and fossils, but no river or gold. They also said they encountered a mysterious force field that prevented them from going further into the cave. Van Tassel later became famous for his UFO sightings and contactee claims. In 1951, a corporation called Cockerweave Inc. was formed to continue the search for the River of Gold. The company drilled more than 12 miles of tunnels under Cockerweave Peak, but never reached the alleged canyon or river. They did find some water seepage and traces of gold, but not enough to justify their expenses. The company still owns the mineral rights to the area and occasionally conducts tours of their tunnels. The legend of the river with 1 trillion gold has fascinated and frustrated many people for almost a century. It has also attracted many skeptics and critics who question its validity and plausibility. Some of the arguments against the existence of the river are: the Mojave Desert is one of the driest regions in North America, with an average annual rainfall of less than 5 inches. It's unlikely there's enough water to sustain a large underground river that flows for hundreds of miles. The geology of the Mojave Desert does not support the formation of a deep limestone canyon or cave system under Cockerweave Peak. The peak is composed mainly of granite and metamorphic rocks that are resistant to erosion and dissolution. The amount of gold that Dorr claimed to have seen is astronomically high and unrealistic. According to some estimates, $1 trillion worth of gold would weigh more than 20 million tons and fill more than 500 Olympic-sized swimming pools. The source and origin of the gold are unknown and unexplained. Gold is usually found in association with quartz veins or placer deposits that are formed by erosion and sediment. Skeptics also point to a 1942 study of local caves by the National Park Service that found no evidence whatsoever of any dynamite blasting under Cockerweave, nor any major cave systems in the area, and concluded that Dorr's assertions were improbable. Perhaps, however, it's the thrill of the chase as much as the dream of riches that still keeps some people burrowing down into the ground for gold. As we come to the end of our exploration into the world of unsolved mysterious treasures and disappearances, it becomes clear that these mysteries continue to captivate and intrigue us to this day. The world of unsolved mysteries is vast and endlessly fascinating, and we can only hope that one day some of these mysteries may finally be solved.